Implementing game mechanics and gameplay loops involves designing, prototyping, and refining the core interactive elements that define the player experience in your game. Here are steps to help you implement game mechanics and gameplay loops effectively. Define core mechanics. Start by defining the core mechanics that will drive gameplay in your game. These mechanics represent the fundamental actions and interactions available to players, such as movement, combat, puzzle solving, resource management, or exploration. Clearly define the rules, objectives, and constraints associated with each mechanic. Prototype gameplay mechanics. Create prototypes or mock-ups to test and iterate on your game mechanics. Use simple prototypes to experiment with different ideas, mechanics, and interactions, and gather feedback from testers or playtesters. Focus on refining the core gameplay mechanics to ensure they are intuitive, engaging, and fun to play. Design gameplay loops. Design gameplay loops that structure the player's experience and provide a sense of progression and reward. Identify key actions or behaviors that players will engage in repeatedly throughout the game, such as completing levels, collecting items, defeating enemies, or upgrading abilities. Design loops that encourage players to engage with the game's mechanics and systems continuously. Create progression systems. Develop progression systems that reward player skill, effort, and achievement over time. Implement mechanics such as experience points, leveling up, skill trees, or unlocking new abilities, weapons, or content as players progress through the game. Design progression systems that provide meaningful goals and incentives for players to continue playing. Balance difficulty and challenge. Balance the difficulty and challenge of your game mechanics to provide a satisfying experience for players of all skill levels. Gradually increase the complexity and difficulty of challenges as players progress through the game, providing opportunities for mastery and growth. Use playtesting and iteration to fine-tune the balance of your game mechanics and adjust difficulty levels as needed. Integrate feedback loops. Incorporate feedback loops into your game mechanics to provide players with immediate feedback on their actions and decisions. Use visual, auditory, or haptic feedback cues to reinforce positive behaviors, highlight progress, and indicate success or failure. Feedback loops help keep players engaged and motivated to continue playing. Encourage player agency and creativity. Design game mechanics that allow for player agency and creativity, giving players the freedom to explore, experiment, and express themselves within the game world. Provide open-ended or emergent gameplay opportunities that allow players to solve problems, tackle challenges, and achieve goals in their own way. Iterate and refine. Iterate on your game mechanics and gameplay loops through playtesting, feedback, and iteration. Gather feedback from players, analyze their behavior and responses, and make adjustments based on their experiences and preferences. Continuously refine and polish your game mechanics to ensure they provide a satisfying and engaging player experience. Document and communicate. Document your game mechanics and gameplay loops comprehensively to ensure clarity and consistency throughout the development process. Create design documents, flowcharts, diagrams, or visualizations that clearly outline how each mechanic works, how it interacts with other mechanics, and how it contributes to the overall player experience. Communicate effectively with your development team to ensure everyone understands the vision and goals for the game mechanics. Test and balance regularly. Test and balance your game mechanics regularly throughout the development process to identify and address any issues or imbalances. Conduct playtests with a diverse group of players to gather feedback on the game's mechanics, progression, difficulty, and overall experience. Use analytics and telemetry data to track player behavior and identify areas for improvement. By following these steps and incorporating player feedback, iteration, and balance into your implementation process, you can create compelling game mechanics and gameplay loops that provide a rewarding and engaging player experience.